Hi, I'm Yasi, and I'm going to do my third critical reflection for MA3 about the topic creative strategy and tactics. We have three parts of today's critical reflection. So the first key takeaway I want to talk about is message appeals. Messages can appeal to be emotional and rational. All emotional messages that are used in marketing materials grab consumers' interest and attention and further influence their feelings in favor of the service or product. In other words, it's the process of emotionally connecting consumers with products. And rational messages are based on facts, logic, and theories to make consumers believe that the products are useful with a sense of authority. We have two examples here. The first example is emotional message. That emotion of empathy makes you think about the children who are being through the domestic violence. And the second example is rational message, based on facts, details, and reasoning. The next takeaway I want to talk about is tone of voice. Tone of voice is the way a brand delivers messages to customers. It can be warm, serious, friendly, and funny. It helps companies differentiate themselves from others and express brand values to target customers. Here we can see why the tone of voice is important. First of all, it helps the brand to reinforce the first impression and allows to build an emotional connection with your customers. Also, it's important part to your brand style, and it helps you to differentiate from others. The next takeaway is creative execution. Creative execution means how a marketing message appeal is presented. A specific message appeal can be carried out in different ways, and an execution can be used with different message appeals. Creative execution can be video ads, testimonial, endorsement, email marketing, direct mail advertising, and mobile phone advertising. Next part is about my questions and opinions of what we learned in week 5. My first question is there any difference between testimonial and endorsement? I think yes. The biggest difference is that testimonial is from users of product, while endorsement is from celebrities who promote the product. Both of them are a kind of feedback, but come from different ways. My second question is, do any factors determine a good message source? I believe there must be some factors to determine which message source is good. Message source is to select who will help the business send the message to the public. So, the message source must be credible, attractive, and powerful. Because consumers can relate to or desire to a product of your brand by knowing your message source. For example, you can imagine how unreliable and terrible it is to have a male celebrity who is a domestic abuser promoting anti-violence activity. It's so strange. And it will not be attractive and exciting enough if a brand invites a spokesperson who is not famous. In most cases, a celebrity with negative news will not be a reliable spokesperson, because no brand wants customers to connect that negative feeling with the brand and products. So, be careful when choosing who sends the message. The last question is, besides being emotional and rational, what other forms can message appeal in? It can appeal to be moral besides being emotional and rational. Moral is not a kind of emotion or logic thing. It is formed based on our society, family, and education system, and even when coming to the same thing, people have different morals and standards because we come from different cultural systems with different social backgrounds. That's to say, A message that appeals moral cannot reach all the people. And I find that most messages and advertisements today are emotional, especially with negative emotions like fear, anger, and sadness. I think it's because negative emotions sell well. Many researches show that we pay more attention to negative things and remember them more deeply, which is called negative bias. This negative bias can have an influence on the decision process. So the next part is what I want to learn more about. When participating in the class of week 5, there was a Patagonia case to write a brief and big idea for. When discussing tone of voice, most of us list some keywords like warm, friendly, and honest, and I was wondering what makes us define a brand's tone of voice, and I wanted to learn more about it. So here are the steps I summarize of how to define tone of voice when communicating with customers. The first step is define your mission statement. This is all about your brand objectives, like you want to reach a younger demographic and get them to try your product. And the second step is to define message appeals. You need to decide your message appeal. Is it emotional or rational? What kind of people you want to attract? Are they easy to be influenced by emotional messages or rational messages? The last step is define tone of voice. You can use the Nelson-Norman Group's 4 dimensions of tone of voice to select where your brand's in. We can see here are 4 dimensions of the tone of voice. The first dimension is funny and serious. Is the message trying to be humorous, or is it approached in a more serious way? The second dimension is formal or casual. Is it formal, informal, or casual? The third one is respectful and irreverent. Does it approach the subject in a respectful way, or does it take an irreverent approach? The next dimension is enthusiastic and matter of fact. Does it seem to be enthusiastic about the subject? Is the organization excited about the service or product or the information it conveys? Or is it dry and matter of fact? After these 3 steps, you can accurately decide your brand's tone of voice. So here are all about what we learned in week 5 and about my opinions, questions, and what I want to learn more about, what I can make future application. Thank you for watching and listening.